In 2002, a Californian film crew succumbed to the icy conditions of the Antarctic, never to be seen again. It's become a story peppered with mystery and controversy, one which conspiracy theorists have obsessed over. We still don't know exactly what happened to them. However, newly uncovered video footage that the crew recorded suggests that they found what they were looking for: ancient civilizations that were masked by the ice. Could that have been the reason they disappeared? And what are the chances they actually survived? Let's dig a little further into the story, shall we? The backstory of the missing crew. On the surface, Antarctica is nothing but cold, dry ice. Sheets of ice cover about 98% of the entire continent. What's underneath, however, tells an entirely different story, and that's what the long-gone film crew wanted to explore. The mystery all began back in November of 2002. As part of a filmmaking expedition to the Antarctic, the Beverly Hills-based crew, equipped with cameras capable of withstanding the deadly conditions, set sail with the hope of recording evidence of underground cities, proof of ancient civilizations, and even hints of the lost city of Atlantis. The crew? Well, they were from a company called Atlantis TV, so the name was certainly fitting. While it's a tragedy for anyone to fall victim to the Antarctic, or anywhere for that matter, this film crew's story has been talked about as one of the most unique and mysterious disappearances to have ever happened in the icy region. Why is that exactly? Well, part of the reason is because it's one of the few cases in history where the missing persons have played second fiddle in the investigation. Instead, all eyes of both the public and the government have been on the hidden ruins, which apparently the film crew actually found buried deep below the Antarctic ice sheet. A missing persons case is hard enough in regular, built-up civilizations, but down in the Antarctic, it becomes near impossible. Let's look at it compared to the United States. At 14 million square kilometers, over 8.5 million square miles, the Antarctic is almost double the size of the contiguous US. Here's the thing though, while close to 330 million people live in the United States, the population of Antarctica hovers right around 3,000 in the summer and 400 in the winter. So not only is there more land to get lost in, but there's fewer residents around to help find the missing people. With that in mind, unfortunately, explorers go missing all the time. The harsh climate is said to have taken hundreds of prisoners over the years. Some discovered, some not. 1 year before the crew went missing. Let's rewind to the year before the film crew went missing, a pivotal point in the story. In 2001, satellite images revealed that something was hidden under the Antarctic ice, and you can find it at these coordinates here. Granted, some images from satellites only give one perspective, however, it was enough to trigger interest from people around the globe, including the Atlantis TV crew. In the same year, military observers took notice that some robotic devices were being shipped to the South Pole from the USA. Although we'll never know for sure since authorities have remained hush-hush about it, many are convinced that the US Air Force had transported their enormous nuclear-powered tunnel-boring machine called the Subterrane down there, which is used for drilling through hard rock. By comparison, using it for ice drilling would have been a piece of cake. So, with all of this intriguing, mysterious news coming to light, it's no wonder that Atlantis TV wanted to investigate. The odds of them surviving when they got there. As we know, the crew made the trek down to the vast Antarctic, but they never made it back. Does this mean that they perished? Well, we'll never really know for sure without any bodies being found, but it's easy to assume that they met their fate. Here's why. Temperatures down there have plummeted to negative 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 89.2 degrees Celsius, which is unimaginable for most of us. According to CBS News, in temperatures of minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit, all it takes is 5 minutes for hypothermia to set in and for organs to start shutting down. Even in conditions of 0 degrees Fahrenheit, where there's a touch of wind, frostbite can occur in just 30 minutes. If the crew did somehow find themselves below the icy surface, they could have faced the wrath of subglacial lakes as well, which can be fatal in less than 15 minutes, with shock setting in during the first 120 seconds. And there wouldn't have been much, if any, time for shelter, seeing as Antarctica is nothing but vast ice sheets. So as you can see, barring a miracle in which the Atlantis TV crew made it to a base, in which case it would have been strangely kept secret, sadly there's very little chance that the crew made it out alive. New evidence. While we don't know for certain what happened to the humans themselves, evidence in the form of discovered video footage shows us something rather miraculous. Ancient ruins hidden below the ice that could prove to be what the missing crew saw in their final moments. The video was actually uncovered accidentally by the Navy SEALs during their search for the missing Californians. Apparently this footage, which was found in an abandoned supply dump about 100 miles west of the Russian Vostok research station, proves the existence of a massive archaeological dig that goes as far down as 2 miles beneath the surface of the ice. When the 2 Navy SEALs who found the footage actually watched the video, according to National Science Foundation researchers at the Amundsen Scott Station at the South Pole, the SEALs' reaction was nothing less than starstruck. The researchers claimed that the SEALs said that it showed spectacular ruins and other things that they couldn't go into. Clearly, there's a lot of mystery regarding the whole thing, and understandably, people still have their doubts. However, a lot of the doubters were left scratching their heads a number of years later when yet another discovery was made. At the beginning of 2017, according to the sun.co.uk, scientists discovered a massive object lurking beneath the Antarctic frozen wasteland, a so-called anomaly that stretches 151 miles and dives close to 2,800 feet, or 848 meters, below the surface. It ties in with something called the Wilkes Land Gravity Anomaly, essentially a massive crater that was discovered when NASA satellites spotted gravitational changes in 2006. For these changes to occur, it's likely that there was a massive object sitting in the middle of the crater. Some believe that this crater is even the scene of the meteor strike that wiped out the dinosaurs. Now, of course, believe what you like, but there's even some left field people who believe that all of this has something to do with the legendary lost city of Atlantis. But we'll leave that one up to you to weigh in on. The controversy of the video. It's no surprise that something carrying this much mystery has seen its fair share of controversy. Back when the footage was found, the US government is said to have come out and stated that they'd stop the video from going to air. But on the other side of the ledger, the lawyers who represented the Atlantis TV crew declared that if the government big shots tried to sweep this under the rug, that they would vigorously oppose it because the government had no right to censor material that is clearly in the public interest and public domain. Initially, the lawyers stressed that the company's primary concern was obviously finding the crew, but once it became a lost cause, attention quickly switched from the crew to the video. Plus, officially, the US has no jurisdiction down in Antarctica, because thanks to the Antarctic Treaty in 1959, now signed by 54 countries, no single country actually owns Antarctica. So, at the end of the day, the Atlantis TV message about the footage was simple. We shot it, it's ours, and as soon as it's rightfully returned to us, we're going to air it. End of story. Then again, the US Naval Support Task Force over in Antarctica denied the story and the footage altogether, so take it all with a grain of salt, I suppose. Why the ancient civilization could indeed be real. That being said, there is plenty of reason and plenty of evidence to suggest that everything we've heard is true. There really could have been a thriving civilization down in Antarctica that the Atlantis TV crew uncovered. Before it was nothing but ice, around 100 million years ago, Antarctica was covered in towering, lush forests. Scientists have regularly excavated entire fossilized logs which help to prove this. Plus, we're constantly discovering new, fascinating things buried beneath the surface. There's subglacial canyons that dwarf the Grand Canyon. Underwater flowing rivers, including the 15-million-year-old Lake Vostok, which has even developed its own high and low tide system. Plus, gold-sputtering volcanoes like Mount Erebus that are unlike anything else geologists have ever seen. So while it might appear as nothing but an endless icy wasteland, the largest desert in the world in fact, that's only what we're seeing right now. Before the Ice Age, it was an entirely different story. It's also worth noting that there are two kinds of Antarctic ice: land ice and sea ice. While sea ice, as you might have guessed, sits atop the water, underneath the land ice is miles of solid land, so there's plenty of room for buried ruins. In 2016, some remote sensor photos taken by NASA during the Operation Icebridge mission appeared to reveal traces of human settlement within this underground land ice as well. Cover up. Understandably, some folks think that it's all part of a massive government cover-up. While it's easy to poke holes in this theory, let's entertain it for a moment. Switching things up, let's head to the north, the Arctic, not the Antarctic. In October of 2016, around 600 miles from the North Pole in a place called Alexandraland, Russian scientists discovered the remnants of a secret German army base that was set up in 1942. Its purpose was supposedly to gather weather reports from the area. While it was only functional for 2 years, it managed to remain a secret for more than 70. So considering that we've witnessed proof of secret locations hidden at the North Pole, why couldn't there be secrets galore down in the South as well? Why it could not be real? As the devil's advocate would say, there's truckloads that we can focus on that would squash everything Atlantis TV has claimed. First of all, the presence of this rare video footage of the hidden ruins doesn't conclude exactly what happened to the film crew. Without contact from the crew themselves, everything is hearsay, and the validity and credibility of the footage, well, it still has a couple of question marks. Furthermore, with such little information about the crew actually available to the public, including their names, we might still need some more evidence to fully solve this mystery. That's all for the mystery of the missing Californian film crew. Do you think there's anything hidden down in Antarctica? Let us know in the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to The Richest, and join our notification squad. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.